We had a very strong year, particularly on the back of our cash equities business. Hong Kong was one of the better performing markets. Our flagship index went up 32%. And particularly in the second half of the year, we saw some very strong volumes as investors came into our market. And this momentum has continued into early 2018. So last year, in terms of our daily volumes, our magic number is when we hit three figures, 100 billion Hong Kong dollars a day, or about 12 billion US a day. And starting around October, November of last year until today, we probably had 95% of our trading days have crossed 100. What's exciting for us in Hong Kong right now is in the fourth quarter of last year, we did what we called a concept paper. You can call it a soft consultation. And as you may know, 3-4 years ago, we lost the IPO for Alibaba to NYSE in New York. And we wanted to go back into the market because we felt there's probably a lot has changed in this intervening period. Not only are the world's largest companies, listed companies, including in our market, we have Tencent, so-called new economy companies. But when you look at the exciting part of the IPO market, it's also all the unicorns and new economy. And we have some fairly rigid listing rules. For example, we don't allow historically weighted or dual voting rights at all. We don't allow pre-revenue companies and so on and so forth. So we went out and did this consultation and got a pretty positive reaction. So what's exciting about 18 is we have fast-tracked now straight to the rules. And we expect as early as late April, early May to take our first application. And we are going to allow biotech companies that have pre-revenue. We're going to allow, I would say, plain vanilla weighted voting rights in the form of IPOs. And we're also facilitating the dual listing or secondary listing of some of the big US companies like Alibaba or even Apple, if they want to come and list in Hong Kong and they don't need to grandfather their old rules. We in Hong Kong have been the number one IPO exchange for, I think it's 5 of the last 8 years. Last year was mediocre for us. So absolutely, I think this year, partially because of the consultation I'm talking about, but also, we're still seeing active markets, and there's a lot of Chinese companies in particular that want to tap the market. So I think we're going to see a good IPO, yeah. Our growth in the last few years, and this is intentional, is very much driven by China policy. And when I say China policy, I largely mean the mainland, but also we need the support of the Hong Kong government and our regulators. And so many of our initiatives are going to China and saying, we know you want to do certain things. For example, welcome international investors to trade equity or bonds onshore. At the same time, you're not ready to 100% open China's capital controls. So let us work with you and find a way to make this accelerated, make it happen sooner in a win-win kind of scenario. And the Stock Connect programs that we did with Shanghai and Shenzhen and stock exchanges, and then last year we did a similar program called Bond Connect for the interbank bond market, are great examples of where we have succeeded in these programs. But looking forward, the reason I said our success is often very dependent on China policy is you have to kind of grab the right people, the right mood, the right initiatives at the right time. It's a good situation. We cooperate with these exchanges, but at the same time, of course, we also compete. So it's always an interesting dynamic. I think what surprised us positively was the consultation I was talking about. Because 3-4 years ago, we did a similar consultation before Alibaba came to list. And in the end, our regulator, the SFC, shut us down and said, no, it's just not going to happen, corporate governance, etc. And so we weren't quite sure how the market was going to react. But I think in the intervening 3 years, people recognize it's not so much about Alibaba, that's one IPO, we have Tencent. I think it's just a recognition that if you want to play in the new economy, you have to adapt. You can't just wait there and people are going to knock on your door. And then we were able to convince our regulator, with a little help from Hong Kong government and other parties, that this is the direction we all should collectively move towards. And I think that is happening much quicker than we thought. We're very much pushing for it, and we're excited.